This is a music video that I lit some time ago. So I was gaffer on it for a production company called 2 and 8. So David and Jack did a fantastic job in bringing this music video to life. This music video is about a guy's struggle with his mental health, and he's kind of like confronting himself as a doctor and a patient, you know, what is real, what isn't real. And it's quite dark. And with that, we wanted to create an element of darkness, an element of like mental battle and things along those lines. Music videos can make or break you. They're a really good opportunity to tell a story over a short period of time. So rather than like 45 minutes, 4 hours, whatever you're trying to do, you know, you've got 3 minutes effectively to tell a story. They're a really good way to hone your skills, you know, to get a lot of work put into a small period of time. Now, when you watch that video, there's a lot going on, you know, you're kind of watching it, thinking it, but ultimately in that video, there's only really 3 light treatments that we used. And what I'm gonna do is I've kind of like broke those down into 3 light treatments, and they correlate to different scenes. Now, those scenes will be shot at different angles and from different points, so it can be a little bit difficult to track it, but ultimately there's 3 treatments. And the reason there's 3 is because it's shot in the same space. We need consistency as you watch them to make sure that you kind of follow the story. If the lighting patterns change and stuff like that, you lose the consistency, and it takes away the realness of the story. And in terms of treatment 1, what we've basically got is an interview / therapy room. It's clinical, it's big, it's cold, and one of the things we tried to do in terms of the coldness is we had a more tungsten light on the outside room shining through the glass frame door. So what we're trying to do in this scene now is basically we come into this room and it's quite clinical and it's cold, and we want to show coming in from another space. So we're using the Pavotube 30C on a stand. And then what we're effectively doing is using the CCT feature to go just outside of that sort of cool colour. So we're around about, I would probably say 3100 Kelvin, and that basically is going to give us a little bit more of a tungsten, but not overly tungsten light, that will bleed into this room. You can see that creates a contrast between the outside space and the inside. And that basically shows how cool the room is, because you can see a more tungsten light outside. So there's a bit of a contradiction and a difference in light temperature, which I think is quite a cool touch. So in terms of treatment 1, the way we lit that is above them, over the table, we have a Forza 60B, and that's basically being powered by D-tap, rigged up to the ceiling. We wanted a square shaper as opposed to a circular one, because we want to try to avoid shadows and make the FX stuff difficult to do in post, because a lot of the scenes there's the character twice basically. So we've had to shoot it in one set of clothes, shoot it in another set of clothes. We have to basically shoot different takes and then bring them back in post. If there are shadows and stuff like that, it becomes difficult to do. So we had the Forza 60 in the ceiling, then we have 2 Forza 500s firing at the back wall, and they're basically on hard spot reflectors, and that's just basically keeping a consistency in light across that back space. Now, that's what we did, and then we had the Pavotube 30Cs in the room outside on the more tungsten light coming in, and all of those combined create the look, which I think is pretty cool, and you can see that shot from different angles. And don't notice the difference, you know you're in the same room, and that's what you want to do with that light treatment. There's no point having to reset up lights for every scene. What you basically want is a treatment and then scenes to go into that treatment. And then you have treatment number 2. So that treatment is the cell, and in terms of that cell, it's basically the corner of a room. We've added some boxes and a quilt over the top of it to make it look like a bed. And the way we lit that is we had a Mixpanel 60 on the ceiling with a grid, and a softbox and a grid coming down, creating a pool of light on the floor. And the reason we did that is because it looks like it's being filmed through CCTV. With CCTV infrared cameras, you basically have like a hotspot and then it falls to darkness around it. So we wanted to recreate that effect and also recreate the look of the red light you would get on the record button when you are recording from CCTV cameras.
We needed basically a red light to be casted onto the character in one of the scenes, into the patient, and we wanted to make the light really thin. To do that, we used in this bin bag over here, well, it's not a bin bag, it's just black wrap. We've got the 15C in there, and we've got a grid right here, which allows to shape the light even more, but it wasn't enough. So what we did is we put this bag over here and then just got a knife, made a little slit here, and we didn't do it there so it doesn't spill onto the floor. And then that just allowed to give us a little slither of light. So whenever he came, so when he walked into the light, it just hit him right there. So that's basically our, like, I call it shitty rigs, but it kind of worked perfectly right.
We had that scene lit in darkness and lit in light, basically. So we had it with lights on, lights off. When the lights are off, the only light source you can see is the Pavotube 6C, and that's basically mounted onto the mirror, the mix panel over the top, creating that top-down light, and they were the only two lights we had in that setup. So it's just keeping it simple, really. Like, you don't have to really over-engineer stuff to get good results. Like, we were able to create good results with you know, the equipment we had, and we didn't need a huge amount of it. And then for treatment free, that's basically me just holding the top of the camera and the artist singing into the camera, and that's what we effectively did for that treatment. Take into consideration those 3 treatments, and within those 3 treatments, there's 8 different scenes that were shot from multiple different angles. So I think over the whole shoot, you know, God knows how many scenes there are, but ultimately there's only 3 treatments within that. And in terms of the equipment we used to light this whole music video, so we had 2 Forza 500s, a Mixpanel 60, a Forza 60B, a Pavotube 6C, and 2 Pavotube 30Cs. Like, so 5 light sources, 2 of them multiple, so the 30Cs and the 500, the Forza 500s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 light sources in total to be able to light this really artistic music video. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed me giving like a breakdown and showing you what everything was and behind the scenes. Huge credit to JK Flash for shooting the BTS. Thank you ever so much to Dave and Jack for putting me on the project. I really enjoy it. Hopefully, you know, things will start to pick up and we can jump on some more projects again. It was great working with Stephan and his team. So Juliette and Zach, you guys were fantastic. Jack as well on BTS videos, so he's producing fantastic stuff. All of these guys are all linked down below. And also big thanks to Nanlite for creating the products that allowed us to shoot this music video. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you all soon. Take care.